Welcome, champions. Very excited to kick off our Traffic Safety Champions Program webinar. Tonight's going to be about inspirational champions. I'm Tim Weisberg, and I oversee the Communications and Public Affairs Division at the California Office of Traffic Safety. And just wanted to give you a brief overview of our agenda. We will first hear from our OTS director, who'll provide a refresher on the champion program and recent highlights for our office. Then we'll hear from two really inspiring champions who are doing great work to drive forward safety for their families, their communities. And this will be followed by a question and answer session if you have any questions or answers for our champions and next steps for future engagements. Uh, that brief introduction. New director as of January. Stephanie Doherty was appointed the director of the Office of Traffic Safety in December 2024 by Governor Gavin Newsom. She's a familiar face in traffic safety, most recently serving as Deputy Secretary of Transportation Safety and Enforcement at the California State Transportation Agency since 2016. Director Doherty, welcome. I'll hand it over to you.
Thanks, Tim. Appreciate the introduction. And I did want to say good evening to everyone. I really want to thank you all for being here. It truly is an honor and a privilege to be part of the Office of Traffic Safety team and to focus on our core mission of saving lives, which is why I'm so excited to see all of our champions for safety who are here and joining us tonight and throughout the year, who share our vision that all people will be safe on California roads. Because at the OTS, we strongly believe that everyone, no matter how they travel, should arrive at their destination safely. And so as a traffic safety champion, you represent a movement that is working to make roads safer for everyone, for people who are walking, biking, driving, no matter how they travel. You are helping to make our roads safer, one person, one neighborhood, one community at a time. And so I wanted to note a few ways in which we are here at the Office of Traffic Safety to help you promote a strong road safety culture for your families, for your neighbors, for your communities, anybody who you come about with and interact with on your daily lives. So whether that's through social media posts or volunteering for traffic safety organizations, committing to advocate or organize community events, the Traffic Safety Champion program is here to provide you with the resources and the tools that you need to advance safety. And so few quick updates on what we've been doing here at the OTS. It has been a busy period for us leading into the fall. We've been running a series of public awareness campaigns in August and September to educate the public on safe driving habits and roadway safety. So with the return of students to school last month, we felt like back to school time was the perfect time to really remind everyone of the importance of slowing down. We held a media event in Sacramento to kick off our statewide Slow the Fast Down anti-speeding education campaign. And that campaign really emphasizes the dangers of speeding for people who are walking and biking, and how just small changes in vehicle speed can significantly increase the risk of injury or death when someone is struck by a vehicle. You may have also seen our Pedestrians Are People, Bicyclists Are People education campaign. And that campaign at its heart really emphasizes how we are all people. We are more than how we travel, and that it is really important that we keep in mind the outsized role that drivers play in keeping everyone safe on the road. We have also been running important messages around vehicular heat stroke prevention. And these campaigns are, of course, complemented by our year-round campaigns that are all tied to our key message of Go Safely California, our focus on promoting a positive road safety culture. And so really, we are so excited and encouraged to be working with all of you as traffic safety champions. And so we really encourage you to download our resources and to share safety messages on social media. We have a series of social media toolkits that help to promote the champion program and also encourage people to join you as a safety champion, because we really want to build that momentum in our communities where everyone is committed to the concept of going safely and looking out for one another. Additionally, there are several other resources out on gosafelyca.org that are customizable to your community. That includes videos and fact sheets and other information materials that can be really helpful to getting the word out and to educating our communities. But tonight's webinar, really importantly, is an opportunity to be motivated and inspired by two champions who are successfully leading traffic safety efforts in their communities. I'm so excited that we have them with us today to really join and share their experiences and their stories and how they are making a difference today and every day in their communities. So I am thrilled to introduce our first inspirational speaker, Isaac Gonzalez. A little over 2 years ago, Isaac started the Slow Down Sacramento movement and organization as a grassroots idea. And it really has become an idea that is now truly a movement within the greater Sacramento area. So Isaac, I'd like to welcome you and thank you for being a champion for road safety. With that, I will turn it over to Isaac.
Oh, well, thank you, Director, and thank you to the Office of Traffic Safety, not only for your work statewide, but your support getting my initial effort off the ground and being a success. So thank you very much. So yes, my name is Isaac Gonzalez, the founder of Slow Down Sacramento. We are a grassroots organization pushing for policies within our city to make driving slower a much more commonplace thing, mainly through pushing for changes in policies and changes to the built environment to make it less conducive for people to speed in the first place in our urban environments. And we do that through a multitude of ways, including our extensive branding effort. Our signs are everywhere throughout the city of Sacramento. Next slide, please. And this is not an idea that was new. I actually thought of this idea while driving through wine country one day when I was approaching some congestion on the freeway, and my navigation app took me off the freeway to tell me to get around and go, avoid the congestion ahead of me. And it must be something that happens often in that community, because the street I drove down was full of slow down Napa signs. People coming off the freeway, probably still approaching freeway speeds, but driving now through a residential community. And a light bulb went off in my mind and thought, wow, wouldn't that be something great to do in Sacramento? I really want to bring that back, that idea to us as well, because we definitely need that as well in our community. And I thought to myself, one day when I have the time, I'm going to start that. I bought the domain name and thought, won't this be a good thing when I can get around to it? Next slide, please. Unfortunately, the truth of the matter is the right day and the amount of time is never going to come. And so it's really important just to, in my opinion, to do the thing. But eventually what did happen and made me realize I could no longer wait for the right moment or the day where I had enough time to do something was that a mother was killed in front of my children's elementary school, Phoebe Hurst Elementary, in January 2022. Lupe Jimenez was standing where she should have been, not on the road, when a car ran a red light, crashed into another car, which landed on top of her and crushed her and killed her. And that was really a point in my life where I realized the epidemic of vehicular violence in our community was just costing way too many lives, and I can no longer wait any longer. So from that point on, I worked really hard to build the bones of what I thought Slow Down Sacramento could become, and prepared with some trusted advocates and people who could give me their pulse check and tell me if my work was on the right track to launch something that following summer. Next slide, please. So this is our kickoff event in August of 2022, just prior to the start of the school year, using, again, the start of the school year to remind people it's a great time to slow down. You should always slow down in our community. I put the call out to my friends and to the community that if they agreed with me, please come to City Hall so we could show a great force in numbers. And while there are a great many of my friends in this picture, there were a great many more strangers, people who really were waiting for something like this to happen, for a movement like this specifically to address this issue. And all the energy now really has focused on Slow Down Sacramento. All that desire to see safer streets, to see cars driving at safer speeds, to feel more safe walking and riding a bike. All of that energy now has really been directed to Slow Down Sacramento. And I purchased the lawn signs with the thought being it would be a great visual on the screen, hoping that everybody would give me the signs back at the end of the press conference, but they didn't. They all took them and took them home. And I realized, oh, okay, people want lawn signs. So really, we started this campaign of giving people lawn signs if they wanted one, which really just showed the overwhelming support for not only this effort, but for a desire for change. Next slide, please. It wasn't soon after that we held our first traffic safety seminar in Sacramento, again, where people came out from all across the city and beyond to talk about what issues they faced in their neighborhoods and what were some potential things that they could do to address those issues in a way that holistically made it less conducive for people to speed. Sacramento was designed with a very car-centric design, where a level of service and cars moving very fast was a priority for engineers decades ago. And now what we see is, as a result, that comes at the cost, the very real cost of people getting hurt by cars driving too fast in that urban environment, often with people who are not inside of a car, a vulnerable road user such as a cyclist or a pedestrian, someone in a wheelchair. Next slide, please. So again, as I said, our signs are everywhere. These are just examples. So you can, every neighborhood in Sacramento basically has a couple lawn signs, and some streets are just blanketed with them, where the frustration is very real and the desire for change is very strong. I personally deliver these lawn signs myself every time a donation comes into our website. One, because it is a grassroots organization and we try to keep our costs semi-low. But two, I like to see what is it about the neighborhood. Why are there people asking for signs here? You can usually tell the same kind of issues: collector streets feeding into neighborhood local streets, the built environment just being conducive for people to feel comfortable speeding, unfortunately. And so it's always interesting seeing what the commonalities are, and the people who I speak with are always very appreciative of receiving the signs and then talking about what it is they can do. It starts a conversation. Every single one of these signs just starts a conversation about what people want to prioritize for their communities. Next slide, please. One thing we've done, again, we try to keep this issue on the forefront of all of our minds. One death is a tragedy, and 24 is a statistic, right? And with it being so commonplace, people sometimes forget that we're talking about human beings, real lives. So this was January 2nd, 2025. We held our very first memorial for all the victims of traffic violence just in the city of Sacramento alone for the year. And we placed a name on every single one of these cones for the person's name. Next slide. And this is a young lady memorializing her father at the cone that bears her name. This was a really stark reminder of the seriousness of the issue that we're facing and how real it is. It drew a lot of attention from the media, from our local officials, and it was something that was really a lot harder to do than I thought it would be. I read every person's name and gave a brief pause between each name so we could remember those that are lost, and it felt a lot like reading my own father's eulogy. I really choked up and had a hard time saying it, and I think it was a poignant reminder again of just how important this work is, and how much we could all just do such a big impact if we just changed our behavior and drove safely around one another. And made a difference. So we'll plan to do this event again every January until we don't have to do it anymore, which is the goal. And how do we get there? It's more than just awareness, and it's more than just lawn signs. Next slide, please. So we are lucky in Sacramento to have an abundance of very wonky policy people who love government and love policy. And that really is the goal of Slow Down Sacramento. It's not just an awareness campaign. It is to talk about what policies that we can enact to actually get the results that we want. And we spend every week, I send out an email to our followers who are signed up on our website, and we teach them about the policies that are working around the country, around the globe, to reduce serious injuries and deaths. And for some cities, actually reach their Vision Zero goals of 0 fatalities within their municipalities year over year. Number one, just quick build campaigns to change the built environment. 20 is plenty to change the speed limit down to 20 from 25. Very controversial, no turn on red is something we're pushing for. rapid crash response teams to look at what the conditions of the built environment may have had an impact on the crash. Daylighting, which is now, of course, law. The removal of parking right next to the approach of a corner. Next slide. Paint crossings, so just making sure there's paint on the ground so people know where to stop. Activating streets through festivals or events to make people realize the importance of our streets and how we could use it. Art, like in crosswalks or in bulb outs and corners to make them more beautiful and make people slow down. It's proven that it actually works. Ending dangerous designs like slip lanes and weave lanes and other things that are harmful for pedestrians and other vulnerable road users. And last but not least, automated enforcement when possible through red light cameras, speed cameras, and now in Sacramento we actually have bike lane cameras, automated AI bike lane violation cameras on our city buses, which is all really great because there's no inherent bias or anything in automated enforcement. So we really push for that here. Next slide, please. So our very first number one priority, it was quick build, because we see that in many municipalities when they can change the environment very quickly and not wait a long time through long-term legacy arterial projects that sometimes take decades to do, that they can see real results and that it's actually quite affordable. And we thought this would take a long time to get passed in Sacramento. We found there was a lot of resistance within City Hall to this because it's innovative, it's experimental, and sometimes a little risky. And the city just didn't have that kind of risk with tolerance, in our opinion. But we're very lucky, and we actually got it approved within a year and a half. Next slide. So this is the woman in the center there holding up the sign is the vice mayor at the time, Katie Maple, council member. This was the night that we got quick build funded and approved as policy in the city of Sacramento last March. And to that effect, they're going to hire 6 people for a special team within the city of engineers, planners, and community outreach and support staff, and funded at $2 million a year for quick build projects throughout our city, for the foreseeable future. So we saw this as a huge win because, again, it is what we wanted. It was policy change so we could see real world environmental change and changes to the built environment. We're really happy to have it have been passed. Now we're going to act as a bit of a watchdog group to make sure that it's implemented effectively and is adaptive enough to meet the needs of the day as they come up, and just support the city on the other policy goals, which we have not yet seen come to fruition, but we hope will through continued advocacy and education. So yeah, that's Slow Down Sacramento. And again, I'm so happy to be here. And I think it's my honor now to pass it along to another traffic safety champion, and that's Kelly Montevallo.
Well, thank you, Isaac. What an amazing campaign that you're pulling off, and very impressive. Good evening, safety champions. I'm so happy and honored to join such an amazing group, all brought together in the name of traffic safety. And much of the time, I feel way out of my element. I'm just a mom, a school teacher, and I guess an accidental advocate. I did not set out on this path, but I'm willing to learn and work hard, because for me, it is personal. This slide, my why. My why is my 21-year-old son, Benjamin. He's the youngest of my 4 sons. I was really happy to come up with a great 4th boy's name, but Benjamin's 3 older brothers convinced him that his real name was Bean and his middle name was Dip. Consequently, he became Bean Dip, and it stuck. My next slide is my other why. My other why is my son, Chandler. On October 18th, 2019, Chandler was in a horrible motorcycle crash. He was returning from Riverside College when a driver unexpectedly turned directly in front of him. The driver said he did not see him. We were told by the police investigator that Chandler probably knew he was about to crash and laid the bike down to avoid broadsiding the car. He doesn't remember. He had 21 broken bones throughout his body, a ruptured spleen, a broken jaw, broken pelvis, punctured lung, and most concerning, 4 decimated vertebrae in his lower back with bone fragments floating in his spinal fluid. The doctors did not know if he would ever walk. After numerous surgeries, including one where his heart stopped, and a month in the hospital, Chandler survived. And though he has lasting pain and faces continued surgery, he can walk. Benjamin was beside him all the way. It was less than a year later that Bean was killed. Next slide. And it's called More Wise. This is where I'd like to tell you a little bit about Benjamin. Benjamin, on June 11th, 2020, Benjamin was hit while riding his bike in Corona, California by an impaired texting repeat offender who never even stopped. Instead, she backed up to leave my son to die in the arms of his best friend. Bean's killer had 2 prior hit and runs, multiple tickets, and 2 prior crashes. In fact, she was in traffic school when she killed him. To say our family and friends are devastated is a complete understatement. We spend many sleepless nights wondering if she had been stopped on any of her prior offenses, would Benjamin be here today? Bean was truly the best of all of us. He loved his family, his friends, his life, and that beautiful life was taken from him by a series of selfish choices his killer made that night. Driving while texting, driving drunk, driving high, and leaving the scene, those are all choices. And Benjamin's killer could have chosen differently. That night, she had exchanged 24 texts with her boyfriend while intoxicated in the 6 minutes surrounding the crash. Then she backed up and continued to text her boyfriend, never mentioning she had just hit someone. Leaving her boy to die in the street is such a cowardly, despicable choice. I cannot forgive her. After running to hide, Naomi Villado got up the next morning, and at 8 a.m. she went to replace her windshield. She then went on to work as though nothing had happened. Meanwhile, we were shopping for caskets. The next night, while we were on the news again pleading for the person to do the right thing, she turned herself in. When the investigator asked her why she turned herself in, she stated it was getting too hot out there. Not sure what that means. Immediately after being arrested, her mother bailed her out, and by midnight that night, she was in Las Vegas partying with her boyfriend. The pictures in court of her and her boyfriend with large cocktails in their hands, toasting to living their best lives, speak to her complete and total disregard for Benjamin's life. Naomi Villado will forever have blood on her hands, my son's blood. We all must see these killings for what they are, choices that could have been prevented. You see, the selfish choices she made that night took so much out of this world. Benjamin was kind and funny and full of life, and he deserved to live that life. My next slide, walk like mad. So how do we go on from here? In our deepest, darkest days, our family and friends have lifted us up. We were blessed to get connected with MAD. These ladies provided compassion, support, and advocacy to navigate the court system, which was absolutely grueling. We joined the annual Walk Like Mad events, which raise money to end drunk and drug driving and support victims. Our next slide is every 15 minutes. We became involved in the every 15-minute programs as guest speakers at various high schools. These high-impact events for high school students aim to prevent underage drinking and driving. We hope that by sharing our story, raw and emotional and honest as it is, something will resonate with students and they can see the reality of the choices they make on how they drive. My next slide is the Law Enforcement Awards. We also have the honor of speaking at a few MAD Law Enforcement Awards, which honor individuals and agencies for their work to prevent impaired driving. Next slide is Illuminate MAD. May not be there. We've attended the Illuminate MAD candlelight vigils in Los Angeles, where communities are encouraged to shine red lights to honor victims of drunk and drug driving. Next slide is Illuminate Corona. I don't see it up there. There it is. We held our own Illuminate event in December of 24 in Corona called Red on Rimpaw. This is the street, Rimpaw Avenue, where Benjamin was killed. We hope to shine a light on driving under the influence, as well as unsafe road conditions on Rimpaw, where speeding is common, and sharrows are the bike lanes students use to lead to the high school. The high school Benjamin was killed just a block away from, his high school. Benjamin was killed in a sharrow. Next slide. We were able to join MAD's legislative action team and other victims to tell our story and ask for support for two important bills. In Sacramento, we lobbied for AB 366, the Ignition Interlock Device Bill that would require an IID for all first-time offenders for 6 months. AB 366 will save lives. According to the Institute for Highway Safety, laws like AB 366 reduce drunk driving by 16%. We also joined MAD for their 45th anniversary and to advocate the HALT Act. Over 200 victims and advocates joined to speak to our members of Congress. This bipartisan act was signed into law in November of 2021 and is currently in the rulemaking phase. The HALT Act requires all new vehicles to be equipped with anti-drunk or impaired driving technology. And this technology already exists. In fact, in Europe, cars are already equipped. The Insurance Institute for Highway Safety estimates that once implemented, HALT could save 10,000 lives a year. My next slide. We joined MAD's 45th anniversary. MAD held a beautiful candlelight vigil in Washington, D.C. on the National Mall across from the Capitol building reflecting pool. So many victims' photos were displayed and lit up that it was literally heartbreaking to see. The sight of so many deaths from preventable crashes, so many broken families, so much pain and sadness was hard to bear. To see my beautiful boy among them broke us that night. Next slide. Mobility 21 conference. We were able to attend the Mobility 21 conference that brings together leaders in transportation to discuss trends, challenges, and innovations. We were honored that the Secretary of Transportation for California, Secretary Omishakin, used Benjamin's story in his keynote address to focus the group on victims. Distracted driving campaigns. We were very lucky to meet up with Tim Weisberg and were able to shoot a public service announcement for distracted driving. We were also able to join AAA to travel to several cities for press conferences on the dangers of distracted driving. City of Corona. In March of this year, we joined the City of Corona, California Walks, and UC Berkeley Safe Trek to hold a community pedestrian safety training workshop. We were able to help identify and assess high crash areas and road safety issues in Corona, and we hope to continue to work to improve our local streets. Safe Inland Empire. During the year after Benjamin was killed, I had been looking at organizations that work towards safer streets. I found SAFE, Streets Are for Everyone, from Los Angeles. One day I decided to call them and was lucky to reach the executive director, Damian Kevitt. I asked if they had any affiliates or chapters in the Inland Empire, and he said, sadly, no, but there sure is a need. I told him I was interested, and he said, let's start a chapter. That's what I mean about being an accidental advocate. After several meetings, hard work, and mentoring, Safe Inland Empire was born, and my head is still spinning. Advocating in Corona. Damian provided lots of advice, but one thing that really resonated with me was just get out there and do stuff. Introduce yourself to the traffic experts in Corona and let them know who you are and what you do and what you hope to do. So we began speaking at city council meetings and to our elected officials. We hope to continue these conversations to make streets safer in Corona. Tour de Palm Springs. We volunteered with SAFE at the Tour de Palm Springs. This is one of the largest cycling charity events in America with approximately 8,000 cyclists. This event raises money for local nonprofit organizations. It was a lot of fun and a great way to learn and make contacts. Finish the Ride and Run. We volunteered and worked the pit stops on SAFE's largest fundraisers called Finish the Ride and Finish the Run. These were started by Damian Kevitt to overcome tragedy after a horrific hit and run crash in 2013 where he lost his leg while riding his bike. He vowed to finish the ride and has now finished many rides and so much more. He is passionate about making streets safer for all. Next slide is World Day of Remembrance. We held our first World Day of Remembrance in November of 24. This worldwide day honors and remembers victims of road traffic violence and recognizes our first responders. This year, the City of Corona has co-sponsored us, and we will again hold a World Day of Remembrance on November 16th of 2025. Ghost Tire Vigil. We participated in our first Ghost Tire Vigil in November of 24 in Rialto, California, to honor and remember two young girls, Nevaeh and Alina Flores, ages 4 and 3, who were killed in a DUI crash. We have two upcoming events in Corona. On Saturday, October 25th, we're looping the new bike lanes with a bike ride and walk. We hope to show our support for a pedestrian-friendly downtown Corona. On November 16th, we will hold our second annual World Day of Remembrance. My last slide here, and I can wrap it up. In closing, I have to say that the journey is hard, often unbearable. I miss Bean every single day. I wish with my whole heart that he were here, but I have to hope that love wins, that we fight for a time of no more victims. May we be complacent about the numbers, because every single statistic represents a human who is loved and is so greatly missed. May we speak for those who no longer can, and may we never forget. His name was Beantit, and he mattered. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you, Kelly, and thank you, Isaac. Kelly, you've truly been an inspiration, you and your husband, Eddie. This is something that's very difficult to talk about and something that's unmanageable, but it's the reason for why we do the things that we do. And you're right, from Damien, just go out and do stuff, right? You can be a champion today, tomorrow, and into the future. It's really inspiring and very brave of you to continue to share Benjamin's story. So thank you for that. And Isaac, all the great work that you're doing. With that, we'll open it up if anyone has any questions about the work that Kelly's doing, the work that Isaac's doing, how you may want to start it up in your community, any challenges or lessons learned.
Hello.
Yes.
Hi, my name is Yara Wolf, and I live in the city of West Covina. I came across your organization because I have two school-aged children, and as most cities, the traffic around the school zone, drop off and pickup is insane. I myself have almost hit children at different times, at no fault of my own. And so I have reached to our city council. I have reached to the traffic department within our school. And the most basic pushback that I get is money. So I took it upon myself to start looking into grants and things like that. And I basically discovered that there are indeed some programs from, your department, from Caltrans, from various institutions that are able to step in and provide, some kind of funding. Um, the needs in my community are pretty basic. So like crosswalks being painted, things like that. I said like a flashing sign, but again, I don't really see that a whole lot is being done. Like what would you guys in your experience suggest is the best approach? I've sent them statistics, I've sent them pictures. I feel like I'm just doing so much, but I'm just not getting um, any palpable actions on from anyone really.
Can I speak to this? Is that okay? Okay. Well, Yara, thank you for coming on tonight and for being interested in being a safety advocate in your community. I am myself a volunteer crossing guard, and I help out every morning at my child's school, which was in the slide deck earlier. And it is very stressful in the morning to see the poor behavior, often of the parents themselves who are bringing their children to school, and also to, if you're near a commuter road, those who seem to forget that they are in a school zone and that there are different speed limits when children are present. Very, very stressful, especially when we talk about our little ones. My biggest recommendation for you would be to organize. It is a harsh reality that it is easier to get the attention of those who have the levers to pull if you are organized in large numbers. So starting a petition, starting an email list, connecting with people who feel the same way about you so that you can educate them about the problems that you are seeing, educate them on the potential solutions that you think are viable, and then advocate collectively as a group to those powers that be. I think another challenge a lot of times with public schools too is that there is often a disconnect between these two silos of government. You have a city or county government, and then you have a school district, and those are two different entities. And often they can collaborate effectively, and often there is either tensions or issues that don't allow them to collaborate as effectively as we all might like. So determining who the responsible party is and who has the most ability to affect quick change would be really, really great. In your pursuits for those grant dollars, I would say continue to look for a safe route to schools money. Those funds and those programs often help to educate people on how best to get to school, what routes to take, what behaviors to follow. And then, often we'll provide, sometimes in Sacramento, we have advocacy organizations that then do what are called walk audits around the school to identify those pinch points and those difficult pieces of infrastructure that, with a little creative retooling and some cooperation from cities or whomever, you can make small changes that can have really, really big outcomes. But I more power to you. Please don't give up in frustration, and don't wait until something happens, to make that change. Here you are now. You have a real opportunity to hopefully prevent something from happening rather than reacting from something that happens. And I wish you all the luck. If you ever want to talk about it more, my email is slowdownsacramento@gmail.com. I'd be happy to talk to you.
Okay. Thank you so much. Yeah, you're correct. I think perhaps at this point the best route is to put more attention by gathering more people, because I feel like a broken record. You hit it in the nail when you said about the disconnect with the between the district and the city. That's exactly what's happening, because when I send out my emails, I've been doing the drive around and taking the pictures and saying, hey, like these streets that are adjacent to the schools don't even have school zone signs or school zone speed limits, which to me it's like beyond comprehension how you don't have like such basic measures. But when I go to the district says, well, that's the city's responsibility. And when I go to the cities, they're like, well, that's the school district's responsibility to bring these issues to light. And I'm caught in the middle. I'm like, but I'm bringing the issues. So can you guys just coordinate and talk to each other? But yeah, perhaps social media and just numbers might make the difference. So thank you so much for that.
And I really want to stress this as much as I can. It's hard to understand all the complexities and challenges that both of those governments may face, whether it be a lack of resources or manpower to do all the things you want them to do immediately. And I feel like we are more effective advocates when we remain our composure, keep our composure, and continue to be relentless in our advocacy, but polite in our methods. I think you get more done that way. And I teach often across the country groups on how to be effective advocates. And it's very easy for us in our frustration to become so upset that we begin to vilify or divide. And so anything you can do within your power is to remember that the people you're talking to are your neighbors, are your fellow citizens, and not the enemy. You usually will bring them along a lot faster if you treat them like that in every interaction. You don't give up. Don't don't allow them to not do their duty, but find in your heart to do it with compassion, and I think you'll get a lot more done.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Isaac. Thank you, Yara. We'll connect with you, and on the end here we'll put up an email. You can reach out to us directly, and we can see you through our relationships. how to best address, since we offer a lot of those education programs, walk audits, crossing guard trainings, that safe routes to school type of programming that Isaac was alluding to. See a comment here from Conrad about, yes, school meeting, talking to the parents, 25 mile an hour, any road where children are present, for sure. Any other questions? All right, so next steps, we will be sending you more updates with new tools, ideas, ways to get involved, and we plan to hold these webinars on a quarterly basis that are focused with you in mind. It's really about championing, providing tools and resources for you to make an impact in your community for your families. And just want to thank you for that. Encourage you to fill out our survey. We really value the feedback and are open to any ideas or suggestions for future meetings. So our contact information, that traffic safety champion at ots.ca.gov, as well as on our website. We will share out this recording as well as the PowerPoint deck. Since launching this program in 2023, we've been building and designing this for you in mind. So the survey link, just 3 questions. And what are you looking for from the program? We really want to hear from you. Was also included on the email invite for tonight's webinar. So again, welcome that feedback. Helps really shape the program to set you up for success, set you up to be a true champion. And just a reminder that on that gosafelyca.org website, we've put together some tools and resources that you can turn to anytime, inspire others, share on your social media, some social media graphics, media messages encouraging people to slow down, to be aware around school zones, to treat pickup and drop off like it's your child that you're dropping off at the school, right? And also email us with any questions at traffic safety champion at ots.ca.gov. Really want to thank you, Isaac and Kelly, for your commitment to road safety. Kelly, for you in the face of unimaginable tragedy. It takes a lot of bravery and commitment, and you've done just that and been an inspiration for all of us. It's all of us together. Isaac mentioned strength in numbers. That's how we can promote a strong, safe road safety culture in California and make our roads safer for all. So with that, uh, keep the momentum going, go safely, take care of yourselves, and have a great rest of your evening.